What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Detroit Lions video. Now today, the 8th day of Detroit Lions training camp is in the books, and just as we did yesterday, I want to go over the major takeaways from today's training camp and go over, who's playing well, who's not playing well, and just kind of the major things that happened today. And I also have a little bit of Lions news, as the Detroit Lions did sign another defensive tackle to add to this roster today. So we do have a little bit to talk about today, but before digging into the video, if you are new to the channel and are enjoying the content, consider liking the videos and subscribing to the channel, as it takes only 2 seconds out of your day to make mine. I would be very, very appreciative to everybody that chooses to do so. But with that being said, let's get into talking about day 8 of the Detroit Lions training camp and the new signing they made today. Now, if you're expecting this video to be positive like yesterday, unfortunately that is not going to be the case, as training camp today was a little bit lackluster, it was a little bit bad, and the news that came out of it wasn't the most positive like yesterday. But I still wanted to report on it because it is still very important for the Detroit Lions and to see how this team is shaping up. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the injury report, as the Detroit Lions did have quite a few players either not practice at all today, practice very little, or leave the practice with injuries. Now, the players that did not practice today include Deshaun Hand, DeAndre Swift, Bo Scarborough, and Hunter Bryant. Now, I'm not sure I'm not sure what or which people in this group were, planned. I'm not sure which one of them, how many are being preventative. I'm not sure how serious the injuries are or anything like that. For all we know, all of these guys could just be sitting out as a precautionary thing. It could always be planned. We saw that with Johnson a few days ago, where, he had a planned off day and he just sat out the day and kind of rested up and healed up his body. They could be one of those. I haven't heard anything about Deshaun Hand being injured. We've obviously heard DeAndre Swift and Bo Scarborough, but they were both back at practice yesterday, so they might have tweaked something again, but more likely than not, they are just being careful. They are just taking it slowly, getting them back on the field. They had practice yesterday, they're not going to have practice today, and they're just going to kind of ease them back into playing time. And then that's the more likely option that's the more likely scenario, is that they're just easing them back in, or it's very possible they could have re-injured something. Now, there was 2 players today that were very limited in practice, and again, I think this one was more of a maintenance thing. I think it was more of an off-day plan scheduled thing, as both Taylor Decker and Trey Flowers both were very limited in practice and did not do anything with the team, or did not do anything in team drills. Again, I haven't heard anything about Taylor Decker having a serious injury. I haven't heard anything about Trey Flowers having a serious injury. I really think it's like Johnson's, where it was a planned day off. They just are giving some veterans time off. They're giving veterans time to recuperate, to heal up. They've been going really hard for a while at practice, and they're just giving these veterans a day to relax. They're giving these veterans a day to, just recuperate, have a day off, maybe have some fun, and then they can get right back into practice the next day. I really think that, there's no reason to be concerned about at least these 2 in Taylor Decker and Trey Flowers. I talked about Taylor Decker playing really, really well yesterday. Maybe they just let him have a day off because he earned it. And, Trey Flowers, again, just a veteran who might have had a planned day off. And then there was one player today to leave the field with injury, as Halapoloti Vaitai, the big right tackle that we brought in free agency, unfortunately did get hurt in goal line drills today for the Detroit Lions. I believe it was like a rolled ankle or something, where it just kind of got rolled over weird. However, he did get up under his own power and did walk off the field with a trainer, so he didn't need a cart. He was walking off under his own power, didn't seem to need a lot of help, so that's really, really good. If it was serious, they would have brought the cart over. They would have not allowed him to walk off. So the fact that he walked off is a very good thing to see. I would assume, it's not super serious, probably just rolled his ankle, maybe sprained something a little bit, but the fact that he was able to walk off under his own power was a very good sign, and that tells me that it's not a super serious injury. It's not something that should hinder him as far as, a few weeks down the road. It should be something that is cleared up in the very near future. Now, getting all the injuries out of the way, the major takeaways today are kind of negative as well. Now, the first takeaway is kind of positive, as Bo Benschwazel, the backup center that we got out of the University of Wisconsin a few years ago, who the Detroit Lions really seem to like at that backup center position, is officially back. He missed most of the first week of practice, and that, forced guys like Logan Stenberg to fill in at that backup center position, where we know he struggled. Bo is back today. He was playing at that backup center position, where he was filling in in with Frank Ragnow, and that allowed Logan Stenberg to move back outside to guard where he is more familiar, he is more comfortable. And I didn't really hear that he had a great day today, but I didn't hear anything negative about him either. So hopefully moving Logan Stenberg back to that guard position is going to help him develop a little bit better. Hopefully playing in that natural position is going to allow him to just play better in training camp, and hopefully just have a better next couple weeks of training camp before the season, or as the season approaches. Now the rest of the news that I got today is a little bit more negative. The first bit of news is that Will Harris is still starting at safety. He's still one of the starting safeties for the Detroit Lions over Tracy Walker. You might say, how is that a negative? But I think any Lions fan that really watched football last year knows that Tracy Walker is better than Will Harris, and Will Harris is for some reason still starting at that first string strong safety position. Now I do think there is a reason for this. I don't think the Detroit Lions are just giving up on Tracy Walker. I don't think they're just saying, okay, yeah, you got 100 tackles last year, you are probably one of our best defensive players, but Will Harris, we're just going to start him because he struggled last year. I don't think the Detroit Lions are doing that. I generally think that with Jaron Kearse being suspended and with some of the undrafted free agent safeties we have and some of the question marks at depth safety, I think they're just giving Will Harris a chance. I think they're just letting him, get up to speed faster, because we know Tracy Walker's already there. We know Tracy Walker is a great safety and might even have a breakout season like some people are predicting. We know Tracy Walker is going to be fine without those first team reps, and with Jaron Kearse being out and some of the question at depth safety, I think that they're just trying to get Will Harris up to speed as fast as possible, because in those first 3 weeks when Jaron Kearse is not there, Will Harris is going to have to step up. He's going to have a role to play in the first 3 weeks against the Bears, Packers, and the Saints. And the Detroit Lions, in my opinion, are just trying to get him up to speed. They're just trying to get him as many reps with the first team as possible. They're trying to get him as many repetitions with the competition that he's going to be seeing, or at least that level of competition that he will be seeing as a starting safety, or as a safety that is going to get significant playing time. So I don't think that the fact that Will Harris is starting at safety should discourage you about Tracy Walker. I don't think it should, make people think that Will Harris is going to be the full-time starting safety. I do think Tracy Walker is still going to be the starter, and Will Harris is at that starting position, but I think it's more just to get him more reps with better competition, so he's more ready when the season actually does roll around and he is thrown into a role where he needs to go out and make plays. Now, the next bit of news is that TJ Hockenson is coming back down to earth a little bit. We talked the other day, we talked in the first week recap and yesterday, that TJ Hockenson is just having a phenomenal training camp in his second season. He's catching everything. He's just being a dominant force out on the Detroit Lions practice facility. He's just being a great receiving weapon for Matthew Stafford. He's just, he's out of this world, having a fantastic training camp. However, today on the 8th day of training camp, TJ Hockenson did struggle a little bit. The big thing I saw was, he had good positioning on Justin Coleman. Matthew Stafford threw a very solid ball, and TJ Hockenson just was not able to hold on to that ball. I also heard a couple other drops that he had today, so he struggled a little bit today. Not something to be too concerned about, because everybody has a bad day. TJ Hockenson is human, just like everybody else in the Detroit Lions organization, so he's going to have bad days every once in a while. His great training camp so far makes me think that it's just one off day. It's going to happen, but, he was really frustrated with himself today. He, was dropping a couple passes. He got really, really frustrated at the end, and even took his helmet off on the goal line one where he dropped it against Justin Coleman, as I talked about. He dropped that on the goal line, and he was so frustrated that he took his helmet off and just slammed it in the ground. He wasn't happy with himself today. His performance today was very lacking and very uncharacteristic of TJ Hockenson, as we've seen so far. He struggled today as well, and that is unfortunately, unfortunate for him. However, I do expect him to have a bounce back game, or I do expect him to bounce back tomorrow at training camp. Now, those were the major takeaways from training camp today, and as I said, the Detroit Lions did make a move today, as they signed a defensive tackle and also released another one that was previously on the team. Now, the Detroit Lions this morning signed Kevin Wilkins and waived Olive Sagapolo. I don't know how to say the name, I apologize, but they did waive him and they signed Kevin Wilkins. Kevin Wilkins was an undrafted free agent out of the University of Rutgers after the 2019 NFL Draft. He spent time on the Philadelphia Eagles practice squad and the New York Giants practice squad. He is now signed by the Detroit Lions and is going to come in and compete for that depth defensive tackle role. I don't think he's great. I haven't seen anything too crazy from him. I think he has really good agility. I think he has pretty good athleticism, but he didn't have great production at Rutgers. He didn't really pop off the screen to me. I think he's going to come in and be very good competition. I think he's going to compete for that backup nose tackle with guys like John Petticini and Kevin Strong, but I wouldn't expect him to come in and be that game breaker. I wouldn't expect him to come in and be that game changer that, a lot of Detroit Lions fans think we need. I wouldn't expect him to come in and get 6-7 sacks. I wouldn't expect him to come in and be a dominant force in the run game. I just think he's going to be very good competition for the guys we have in the room right now. And if he plays well enough, obviously he'll make the team and just be competition and practice every day for those guys. I think he will be competing for that backup role, but I don't think that, he's going to pop off really or do anything spectacular in training camp as of yet. Now, with that being said, though, that is all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and had an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. If there is more Lions news before tomorrow, I will try to make another video letting every single person know. But until then, that is all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Now, I will see all of you guys tomorrow with more Detroit Lions content if there is no more Lions news. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see all of you tomorrow with more Detroit Lions content. Bye, guys.